started to feel a little lightheaded. My vision began to blur. I'm only going to borrow you for a little bit, if that's okay. It was slowly getting harder and harder to breathe. I was too weak to say anything.
Oh, is
I
he
fell
gonna
to the
take over
ground,
his body?
unconscious. What isn't scary? My new friend. The following is based on a story submitted by Ollie. What I'm about to tell you is going to sound impossible, and honestly, if it didn't actually happen to me, I probably wouldn't believe me either. I'm sort of known for being a little theatrical. I can't help it, I just love entertaining my friends. So one day after class, I was telling another one of my ridiculous stories to my classmates who had all gathered around me. And among them was a new face, a boy I hadn't seen before. He looked a little nervous. He kept glancing around at everyone and lightly giggling along. I figured he must have been new. I finished my story and everyone dispersed. Everyone except the new kid. So I introduced myself. Hi, I'm Ollie. Eric, he replied, rather robotically. Are you new here? Yes. Cool. Well, I'm headed that direction. Do you want to join me? Yes. As we walked and talked, Eric seemed to warm up a bit. I asked him where he transferred from, and he said that he'd been homeschooled up until recently. I just want to be a normal kid, he said, and I'll do anything I can to help, I told him. I told him that he could join me in all my after-school activities and hang out with me and my friends. And so he did. Over the next month, we spent a lot of time together. We both auditioned for the school musical. I got a lead, but Eric didn't, so he became a techie behind the scenes instead. Then one week, Eric told me that he was going to throw a party at his place while his parents were out. He told me that he was going to invite people individually because he didn't want too many people finding out. I thought it was a little bit of overkill, but I respected his wishes and didn't tell any of my friends about the party. Friday night came. I knocked on his apartment door. I remember thinking it was eerily quiet and thought that I had arrived too early. Eric opened the door and welcomed me in. And I was immediately confused.
No one else there?
Not only was nobody else there, there was nothing else. No furniture, no fridge or stove, basic apartment things. There was none of it. It was completely empty. The door slammed shut and the lock slid into place. Where's all your stuff? I asked hesitantly.
That's not right.
Stuff? He asked, with a genuine look of confusion on his face. You know, like tables and chairs? Oh, so houses need tables and chairs. Thanks for the note, Eric replied. That's why I like you, Ollie. You would do anything to help me. I started to feel a little lightheaded. My vision began to blur. I'm only going to borrow you for a little bit, if that's okay. It was slowly getting harder and harder to breathe. I was too weak to say anything.
Oh, is
I
he
fell
gonna
to the
take over
ground,
his body?
unconscious.
Damn.
When I came to, I looked around. Eric was nowhere. I had no idea how long I was out for, but I remember thinking that it only felt like 10 minutes or so had passed. I made a run for the door and ran back home. I found my mom in the living room. Mom, there's something I need to tell you. There's our star. How was the show tonight? My mom asked. What are you talking about? Closing night, silly. Did it go well? The musical isn't for like 6 months, Mom. My mom laughed at me. I pulled out my phone to check the date, but it was dead. I grabbed my mom's. 6 months. It had been 6 months since I felt unconscious in Eric's empty apartment.
What the?
How is that possible? I tried to explain everything that happened to me about Eric and the weird apartment, but my mom thought I was just trying to be funny. The worst part is, I asked my friends the next morning about Eric, and they all acted like he never existed. They think that I'm making up everything for attention, but they hung out with him. He was real. I don't know how this happened, but I do know that wasn't me for the last 6 months. It was Eric, living my life without my permission.
See, I told you.
I have no idea where he is right now. So please, please,
You told me?
be careful
I don't
out there.
remember you saying anything.
No, I'm just saying I told you he's gonna take over his life or something.
Thank you to all of our patrons,
was
especially
not that
Eric,
scary,
who
but
had
still,
character
like,
names after
yeah,
them
that's
in
kinda
this
creepy.
episode. If you'd like to join our...
Oh, I hate when... Oh, I don't like that. When
That's
someone
kinda
takes over
creepy.
your life and no one knew about it. Like,
Oh my god, that's even worse. How can no one knows that's not me? Like, that's so annoying.
They're fake friends. Fake family.
If something happened to me and stuff, and it wasn't me, you should know that wasn't me.
Of course.
If something happened to you and someone's trying to take over your identity, I would know that's not you.
Yeah,
But some stuff, only we know.
Yeah. Yes, we do.
Okay, next video.
Hey, I'm Sapphire. Want to hear something scary? The following is based on a true story submitted by Captain. Back when I was around 10 years old, I was growing up in rural Scotland with my mom and my little sister, Amelia. There wasn't much to do out in the grasslands, so we'd chase each other around the house and come up with little games to play. But when Amelia turned about 7, she became a bit distant to me. Not like she hated me, but instead she was focused on something else. I approached her about it one day, and she explained that she has to play with her friend Tom too, or else he gets jealous. I assumed Tom was her imaginary friend. One day, I was reading in my room when my mom burst through the door, enraged. Elizabeth, did you eat all of my honey? Those jars are not cheap. I specifically told you it was for special occasions only. It wasn't me. I did, Mom, my sister said as she entered my room. I had to feed Tom, and he loves honey. Amelia, if you wanted some honey, you should have just asked, and I would have given you a little bit. There's no need to make up stories, okay? But Tom loves it. Look, I'll show you. My mom and I followed Amelia into her room. She pointed under her bed. This is where Tom lives. My mom nervously crept down underneath the dark bed and looked around. There she found the empty jar of honey. My mom went back to full rage mode and grounded my little sister for making up stories. But I'm not lying, I swear. The next day, my mom stormed into my room again. What is wrong with you? You're stealing my liquor now? I didn't take anything, I said defensively. It was me again, Mom. Amelia chimed in from the doorway. My mom shot her one of the scariest glares I'd ever seen her make. Let me guess. Tom drank it? Mm-hmm. You wouldn't let me give him the fancy honey anymore, so I had to give him something. Look. Again, we followed her to Tom's supposed hiding place. And sure enough, underneath Amelia's bed were the empty liquor bottles. My mom was furious. She thought my little sister had actually drank the booze herself. My mom grounded her for the remaining of the year, and my sister cried all night. She asked me if I believed her, and honestly, I wasn't sure. I mean, I knew she didn't drink the alcohol herself. If she had, she'd be dead. And I didn't think she was stupid enough to pour it all out in the name of her dumb game. But I told her I believed her. My sister and I went to the same school. During class the next day, I got called to the principal's office. Apparently, she had gotten in a fight during recess and ended up getting hurt pretty bad. Some so-called friends pushed her over onto a rock, and she had to be rushed to the hospital. They tried to reach my mom but couldn't get a hold of her, so they asked for me to go to the hospital with her. I immediately rushed over to make sure my sister was okay. She was pretty beaten up. It was really tough to see. I'm so sorry, sis. It's not your fault. It's Tom's. She explained that since she couldn't give him treats anymore, he was making all her friends hate her. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She was seriously still talking about Tom. Once my mom got to the hospital, I walked back home to do homework. Now, I don't believe in spirits or anything like that, but I thought, what if Amelia was actually interacting with something? Something neither me nor my mom could see. I decided to do a brief online search. I typed, invisible friend who eats honey and liquor. I honestly didn't expect to find anything, but I came across a site that talked about something called a grugach. They were invisible house spirits that were helpful as long as you gave them what they want, typically expensive items such as honey or liquor.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. Maybe that's who Tom was. I continued reading. However, if you make them angry by not offering them gifts, they will cause major harm. Never name a grugach, for they will become permanently attached to you. If you manage to attach one to yourself and then refuse to pamper it, it will wreak havoc on your life. Not only that, it will make up for the lost help by stealing the host away as a slave. Oh no. When my mom finally came home, I told her about everything I had read. I tried to tell her that if we pissed it off anymore, it might take Amelia away as a slave.
Be like, you're joking.
But my mom wasn't having it.
Yeah.
I'm very tired and stressed. Please don't make things worse. A few days later, my sister was okay enough to come home from the hospital, but she had to stay in her room again until she was fully recovered.
I don't think she should stay in her
I can't
room.
stay in here. Tom might take me away. I haven't fed him in over a week.
Yeah.
But my mom ignored her complaining and locked her in her room for the rest of the day.
Oh my god, that's even worse.
Why
Later
would
that
you
night,
do that?
my mom went to check on Amelia.
Oh,
She
was
wanted to
gone?
apologize for being so
she's dead.
cruel
She's probably
earlier.
gone. She's gone.
But when my mom opened the room,
She's gone.
Amelia wasn't there.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
She checked the closet, underneath the bed. There was no sign of Amelia anywhere. Mom called the police and waited in the living room. Mom, you don't think that maybe... Elizabeth, please. Not now. The police inspected our house and said they couldn't find any signs of anyone breaking in or running away. But they were going to continue looking for Amelia. My mom left the house shortly after that. She said she needed some fresh air. She told me to stay home until she got back. So I stayed in my room until night. When I was about ready to go to bed, I heard something coming from my sister's room. I opened the door and found my mom on the floor, in tears, surrounded by dozens of honey jars. She was calling underneath the bed. Please, I just want her back. Please just give her back. Please, Tom.
Well, I don't know what you guys think, but for me, the last one is scary. The first one is not that scary. Like, I think it goes from like the last one being first, the second one being second. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. The first one wasn't that scary. This one, I would say, like, is like the scariest. Yeah.
So let us know what you think and which one's the scariest for you and which one's the least. So signing off.
Bye, Grace
And Rachel.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.